Alright, before I start this video, please don't be afraid to go look at the original video. It is going to be under the amazing Armchair Historian. Definitely go subscribe to him and you can watch his original video. But in today's video, I'm going to be watching one of his videos called How Did France Lose in Mexico? Since I am a Mexican, my mom was born in Mexico, my dad was born in America, but my dad's dad was born in Mexico, so we Mexican over here. And I've never even seen this video, so it'd be nice to actually know how this actually happened. Beautiful Armchair Historian. And that beautiful artwork. That looks like water paint colors.
Hi, I'm Griffin Johnson, the Armchair Historian.
There
Today's
he is.
video, how France fought
the very
Mexico
famous
to put an Austrian into power
French
only to be
versus
stopped
Mexico.
by the United States. I promise it'll all
How about the
make
United
sense
States?
soon.
What? The United States did it?
The Franco Mexican War might seem
The
like
Franco
somewhat
Mexican
of a
War.
strange conflict, but you might be
Here we go.
surprised to find out that this wasn't the first time that France and Mexico went to war, and
This
in the
isn't?
same century too.
France and Mexico went to war more?
Today is the second of these conflicts,
I think
typically
the
referred
thing-
to as the Second French Intervention in Mexico.
We only get taught the Americans versus the Mexicans when it comes to any of these wars. So we're not taught very much about any other country versus Mexico. And at least over here in the US, obviously.
Unfortunately, we don't have a witty sobriquet to refer to it as, like the Pastry War, which was what the first intervention came to be known as.
Pastry
But funny
War?
nicknames aside, today we'll be discussing the prelude, course, and aftermath of the war that would be the beginning of the end for Napoleon III's imperial
It's the beginning of the
ambitions.
end for Napoleon? I didn't know that was
Between
the case.
1857 and 1861, Mexico was embroiled in a civil war.
We were in
fought
civil war?
between the conservatives, who espoused the Catholic Church
Okay,
and the
Catholic
central
Church, that
government,
sounds about right.
and the liberals, who espoused democracy and equality. The
Okay.
conflict began after the conservatives, who were unhappy with the results of the election and the reforms being instituted.
Damn, we used to go to
rose
wars
up
all the
in
time. Look at
revolt
that. We
against the
Mexicans. That's how we
liberals.
do
In
it.
1861, the liberals
We don't
won
like
the
this.
war,
We're killing
with
each other.
Benito Juarez being recognized as president and bringing an end
I remember him.
to the bloodshed in Mexico forever. Except
Yeah.
that wasn't the end of it. See,
I wasn't?
during the Civil War, both sides borrowed a lot of money from Spain, France, and Great Britain.
Spain,
when the
France, and
liberals
Great
won,
Britain.
these powers
They love giving us
expected them
money.
to pay compensation, not only for the money that they borrowed, but for the money the conservatives also borrowed. The liberals weren't enthusiastic about the idea, to say the least, so the European powers
Hell
decided
nah.
that they would seize their recompense instead. The plan was
How
simple:
was that?
strong-arm Mexico into paying for the war.
Ah,
That's
you
not
trying
right.
to
Strong-arm
take
Mexico
our
into paying for the war. But Napoleon III
Take
had
our
other
money.
plans. After all, he had a lot to live up to. His intention was not to simply collect debts, but to take over all of Mexico.
They were trying
And
to take
do that,
over
he would
us
need a
in
monarch
Mexico?
who would serve as his puppet. That's
Nah.
precisely where Archduke Maximilian comes in, a Habsburg who had been approached by
Habsburg!
Mexican monarchists
I know them.
before and could claim to be the rightful ruler of the now defunct territory in New Spain.
Of course.
In December 1861, the European coalition comprising France, Great Britain, and Spain captured Veracruz with
Oh,
little
no.
to no resistance.
We didn't
Exact
resist?
numbers are hard to come by, but we believe that the invading force numbered some 6,000 men.
I didn't realize in this battle it was all three of the European nations: Britain, France, and Spain. That's kind of crazy. I didn't know. I mean, like I said, they don't teach you this in America. Or the United States, sorry. So this is kind of interesting.
Whereas the Mexican army could only field some 3,000 men at the time. With such a
3,000
hefty
men,
numerical
man.
advantage, the Europeans crept
They were just
ever
running
closer
us
to
over?
Mexico City, capturing 3 cities along the way.
Ooh.
Then, seemingly out of nowhere, another French fleet arrived,
More?
capturing Campeche
Oh
in
my
February
goodness, bro. What the
1862.
hell?
That cleared the way for an entirely
We're,
new
like,
French army to land in
overwhelmed.
April under the command of General Charles de Lorenzo. This army came not to collect debt, but to begin the conquest of the country. Napoleon III had thereby revealed his hand, and the British and Spanish decided that they would have none of it. I mean, did you really
Nice.
expect that the French and British would be able to work together? By the end of
Yeah,
the
I was
month,
gonna say
only
that. I was
French
like, that's
troops
why
were
I'm so surprised. Like the British and the French were working together. All right, so once they figured out, oh, this fool over here just trying to take over the whole place, and we're not gonna get nothing from it. Yeah. That makes sense.
Remained on Mexican soil. France had to secure its precarious position while reinforcements were shipped across the Atlantic, so it concluded a ceasefire with Mexico. But Lorenzo had other plans. He initiated a series of skirmishes, after which he laid siege to the city of Puebla. The Mexican general Zaragoza had about 4,500 men at his disposal, stationed in a well-fortified position on two hills just northeast of the city. General de Lorenzo had 6,000 men. He immediately ordered a headlong attack against Puebla from the north, which was repelled. De Lorenzo then attacked again, bolstering his numbers by committing his reserves and orchestrating a diversionary attack on the eastern part of the city. Both attacks were initially more successful than the first, but they were repelled all the same. Nevertheless,
very nice.
Ordered a third attack, and
he kept trying.
One as his
Fool, we Mexico, dog. What you trying to think you can do?
It was a complete disaster.
Let's
Now
go.
it was Zaragoza's turn. It's the climactic counterattack you've been waiting for, with the French being attacked on both flanks simultaneously by the Mexican cavalry and charged head-on by the infantry. The festival of Cinco de Mayo is actually meant to celebrate this victory.
What?
Wow,
I had no clue Cinco de Mayo represented this. That teaches you how they don't teach us nothing over here in the United States. That's crazy.
Independence. But the war was not won yet. On the eastern coast of Mexico, the French expanded their foothold until the end of 1862.
Did they ever get to Mexico City?
When Zaragoza died, the French returned to Puebla under a different general, Élie Frédéric Faure. He was in less of a hurry to take it.
Because then we're
going
to get messed up for sure.
He besieged the city with 26,000 men. After a grueling
26,000 men,
the defenders,
damn.
despite several relief efforts and sortie attempts, were forced to surrender in May 1863. The road to Mexico City now lay open to the French. In May,
I didn't know they went this far in.
Took flight from the capital and made for Chihuahua. 1 week later, on June 7th, 1863, French troops stormed Mexico City. The second phase of the French conquest of Mexico had now begun, installing Maximilian and keeping him in power. To convince him to take the crown, Napoleon provided him with results from a rigged election. He accepted the crown in October of that same year and began working on a series of progressive reforms, making the country more open to democracy, abolishing a Mexican form of serfdom, ending child labor, and even limiting work hours. Mexican conservatives lent him tepid support. French and Imperial Mexican forces remained victorious on the battlefield until the end of 1865, taking a number of cities and asserting control over Sinaloa and Jalisco. Their advance
all the way to
stalled
Chihuahua
thereafter, and in 1866, Juarez's Republican forces made a startlingly fast comeback, armed with American dollars and weapons.
America,
Up to
baby!
that point, Americans had been busy fighting the bloodiest war in their history.
Civil War.
But now that the United States were united once more, they were more than willing to enforce the Monroe Doctrine and thereby defend their southern border from European imperialists.
Oh hell yeah,
Napoleon
screw that.
III was prudent
We had
enough
just
to
fought
begin
the
withdrawing
British over there in
troops,
America.
deciding that Mexico was not worth the damage to Franco-American relations.
Bro, that's cool to see that the United States came in to try to help Mexico by giving them money. We're like, yeah, no, we don't want to deal with no more Europeans. We've had our fair share. We're good. That's kind of funny.
By the end of 1866, Maximilian had been abandoned. After fleeing Mexico City and being besieged in Querétaro for a few months, the Habsburg prince, who had traveled the Atlantic expecting to be welcomed with open arms as the bridge between
I didn't know a
the
Habsburg
old
went to
world
Mexico.
and new, was captured by Mexican forces.
Did we shoot
His
that fool?
execution took place a
No
month later,
way.
resulting in the restoration of a Republican Juarez government and the end of French intervention
I
in
had
Mexico.
no clue the Habsburg went to Mexico and then we just executed that fool. That's crazy. That was a very, very beautiful, very well told story. Very good video. Don't forget to subscribe to Armchair Historian and go check out the original video if you want to. I think it was interesting to me to see like a Spark Notes version of this war related to Mexico and France, and I had no clue that the other Europeans in the beginning started off helping. And I loved how it ended, how the United States came in there to help Mexico hit out the French, even though the French literally helped us kick out the British. It's like it's in a circle. I don't know, all these intertwined relationships between the Europeans and Americans, whether it's Mexico or the US. That's kind of funny. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.